morning, Cornerstone Church. Today's scripture is found in Psalms 23, verses 2 through 3. Let's read together. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, and he leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Psalm 23, 2 through 3. Psalm 23 is often called the Shepherd's Psalm, written by King David, who was once a shepherd himself. This psalm reflects the deep trust that David had with God, comparing God's guidance and care to the relationship between a shepherd and his sheep. David knew firsthand the loving protection and provision of a shepherd, which he often uses as a metaphor for God's relationship with his people. If we look in verses 2 through 3, we are visually shown a beautiful picture of God's care and restoration. These verses are not just about physical rest or comfort, but they also speak very deeply to the spiritual renewal and peace that God offers us. Number 1, he makes me lie down in green pastures in the first opening sentence. Let's read. He makes me lie down in green pastures. We see the shepherd's provision for the sheep. Sheep are not always inclined to rest, especially in a world that demands so much from us. But the shepherd knows that the rest is essential for the health of the flock. While the green pastures in the verse signify abundance, nourishment, and peace, for us, these green pastures are symbolic of the places of spiritual nourishment that God leads to us. Whether this is our bedroom, maybe church, or just a small closet in the corner of our house, just as the shepherd knows where the best fields are, God leads us to places of spiritual rest and fulfillment. The green pastures in this sentence are a picture of peace and contentment, not just in our physical circumstances, but also in our hearts. In our busy world, it's very easy to become spiritually tired and worn out, but God as our shepherd knows how to lead us to rest. Sometimes, he even has us beat down just because he knows we need it, even if we don't recognize it in that moment. This is always a constant reminder for us to slow down, embrace the peace he offers, trusting that he knows what we need. Number 2, he leads us beside still waters. The second part of verse 2. He leads me beside still waters paints a picture of calmness and tranquility. Sheep are skittish creatures that are often afraid of deep running water. They often won't drink from fast-moving streams because they might be swept away. In this case, the shepherd leads them to quiet waters where they can safely drink without having fear of being swept. In our lives, this is a reminder that God leads us to stillness and peace, especially when our hearts and minds are overwhelmed. The still waters that are in this verse symbolizes God's peace, which transcends understanding and provides refreshment for our souls. Just as the shepherd knows where to find safe, calm waters for the sheep, God also leads us to the stillness that we might need in the midst of this wild moment. Sometimes, God's leading can feel quiet or even hidden, but he is always guiding us towards peace. In a world filled with political turmoil, distractions, and other worries, God offers us stillness, a chance to be still and know that he is God and he is good. We are often reminded to seek his quiet presence in the midst of life's chaos, trusting that he knows best and he can help us refreshment. He restores my soul, the third phrase. He restores my soul goes beyond physical provision to speak of spiritual renewal. Just as sheep can become weary and fatigued, so too can we become spiritually dry, burdened and weary from life's trials. We also need restoration, not just in the body, but also in our spirits. God, in his infinite grace and wisdom, offers to restore our souls. He brings us healing to the broken, strength to the weak, and refreshment for the weary. This restoration is not something we can do on our own. It's the shepherd's work to refresh and restore us when we feel depleted or disconnected from God, or even just spiritually drained. God promises to restore us. This restoration happens through the Word, through prayer, and through his loving presence in our lives. We are often reminded that in our most desperate moments, he is always near, ready to revive and refresh our hearts. Number 4, he leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Finally, God leads us in paths of righteousness for his name's sake, paths of righteousness representing our journey of God's waiting and will for our purpose. He doesn't just lead us for the sake of our own comfort, but for his glory as well. Every step he leads us to is not part of a greater plan to shape us in the image or bring honor to his name. God's guidance is not sporadic, even though it may seem like it at times. He doesn't lead us down paths that are just convenient or easy, but often paths that are right and true and maybe not convenient in the moment. He's always growing us closer to Him. The reason He leads us this way is not for His own glory, but to demonstrate His goodness, faithfulness, and love. Now let's review. Psalm 23, 2-3, we see the tender care of the shepherd for his sheep. He leads us to the green pastures, still waters, and removes and restores our soul, and He provides us with physical and spiritual needs, guiding us through wisdom and love. As we follow Him, we find peace and rest in knowing that His path is the best one for us. So our challenge today is to let us trust in the shepherd's leading. Let us slow down, take a few minutes, lie in His green pastures, and think deeply and drink from His waters. We know that He is able to restore our souls and lead us to the paths of righteousness. So let us follow with joy, knowing that He is with every step of the way. Thank you.